Okay, it is that time of year. This weekend, we will set back and gain an extra hour of sleep, daylight savings. We all kind of grumble about this, or we're excited depending on the time of year. And you know what? We're probably going to feel just a little bit weird for at least a couple days after, right?
The most important topic for a couple of days of the year. Daylight saving, a bit of a relic that many people will say doesn't really make sense in our modern society. And no, it's not the farmer's fault that we still have it. But it'll take a lot of work to get rid of it. And here with us is Jay Evenson from the Deseret News. He wrote about what it would take to get rid of the time change in an op-ed this week on Deseret News.
Sounds like there would be a lot of things, a lot of steps need to be taken to get rid of it.
Well, it's true. And the main thing you need to get is Congress. It takes an act of Congress. Federal law currently allows states to keep standard time year-round if they would like. So Arizona and Hawaii do that currently. But you may not keep daylight saving time year-round. And a lot of states want to do that, including Utah, well, including some members of the Utah legislature.
So do we know why? Why is it that the daylight time needs an act of Congress?
You know, I can't tell you exactly what the reasoning was for that. I think there is concern that you don't have just a jumble of different time zones in the country. There have been, I think Kentucky at one point decided, you know, maybe it wanted to keep standard time, and Utah thought, well, it wanted to keep daylight saving time. And so for a few months out of the year, Kentucky would have been on mountain time and Utah would have been on central time. So you don't want that kind of confusion.
Right.
We already have a hard enough time knowing what time it is in Arizona, right? If you have relatives or friends down there, it's like you try to make a call. I can't remember, are they behind us? Are they ahead of us? Are they with us? You know, what's going on?
Right. Jay, I grew up in Hawaii, and I got to tell you, it's really irritating because sometimes I'm like, am I 4 hours? Can I call my mom? Is it too early? So I get that.
Right.
But, you know, people may not know the history of daylight savings. We always say, oh, it's because of the farmers, it's all their fault, but that's not the case.
No, it actually has to do with saving energy. And it originally started about 100 years ago and in World War I, and there was a real desire to save on coal costs, that kind of thing. As the 20th century progressed, it became more in terms of, if we have more daylight hours while we're awake, we won't be having our lights turned on so much, and so we'll save energy that way. I don't think we have those concerns quite like we used to have. And a lot of people are just thinking, why are we doing this twice a year? And there really is no compelling reason that we should be doing it. So I'll tell you what's happened. There are at least 6 states, I think there are 7 now, that have passed bills that say we will change to standard time if Congress changes and allows us to do it. And Senator Wayne Harper from Taylorsville has a bill that he's going to propose in the next legislative session that would say the same thing for Utah. We will change to standard time to daylight saving time year-round if at least 4 other Western states do it and if the federal government changes the rules. I spoke with him the other day, and he said his concern is he doesn't want, like I said before, having different states in the West on different times.
Right.
So that's why he wants at least 4 other states to be on board. But the big if is Congress moving, and Congress right now is a little preoccupied with impeachment and some other things, and so it's not high on the docket. However, I will say the European Union recently passed a law that no longer compels its member nations to change their clocks twice every year. And so that may eventually force the United States to say, well, do we want to be out of sync with the rest of the world and with one of our major trading partners? So you might see some movement in this over the next couple of years.
Well, we're going to have to be watching, especially with our local ties. So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
We'll talk about it again in 6 months.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sounds great. All right.
All right, Jay, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate that.